All right, let's talk about one of the wildest, most fascinating paradoxes of the human brain. It's called blindsight. And today, we're looking at some incredible new research that might just be able to awaken a hidden visual world.
So, let me just start by asking you a question that sounds, well, a little bit like a riddle. Can you actually see something without having any conscious idea that you're seeing it? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? But believe it or not, this is the exact mystery that scientists are finally starting to piece together.
To really get our heads around how this could even be possible, we first have to understand the problem. You see, for decades, a certain kind of blindness was just considered a total dead end, a complete wall of darkness with no way through.
Now, this condition is called cortical blindness. And what's interesting is it's not a problem with the eyes at all. The eyes can be perfectly healthy. The damage is to the brain's primary visual cortex. That's the part that takes all the raw data from your eyes and turns it into the pictures you consciously see. And for the longest time, the conventional view was simple. If that area is broken, the brain is in the dark. Game over.
But what if that wall of darkness wasn't quite as solid as everyone thought? What if there was a crack in it? This is exactly where our story takes a really fascinating turn, with a phenomenon that just blows that old assumption out of the water.
And that phenomenon is called blindsight. It's this absolutely remarkable ability that some people with cortical blindness have. They can physically react to things they can't consciously see. It's like their brain is still processing visual information somewhere deep down, on a subconscious level, even though their conscious mind is getting absolutely nothing.
And this is where the paradox just gets so wild. You ask the patient what they see, and they'll tell you nothing, a total void, no light, no movement, zip. But then, their body will do things that make no sense. They might walk around a chair they don't know is there, or they might reach out and catch a ball that was tossed at them, or even guess correctly which way an object is moving. It's this unbelievable disconnect between what you perceive and what you can do, and it makes you wonder, what does seeing even really mean?
So, okay, while this hidden sight exists, it's not exactly a superpower. The huge challenge has always been that these abilities are just, well, they're unreliable. You can't count on them, they're weak, inconsistent, and really difficult to control on purpose. And that's pretty much limited how useful they could be for helping people. Until now, that is.
And this brings us to a completely game-changing new idea. What if we don't have to just accept these signals as weak and unreliable? What if we could actually find a way to intentionally make them stronger? To, basically turn up the volume on this hidden sense? And this is the beautiful core of the new hypothesis. Researchers are now thinking that these really faint signals, the ones that are traveling through these other backup pathways in the brain, can be artificially amplified. The idea is that by using really targeted stimulation, we might be able to boost these secondary visual networks that managed to survive the original injury.
The best way to think of it is like this. Imagine the brain's hidden visual system is like a really weak radio signal, full of static and hard to make out. This new approach is like bringing in a powerful signal booster to clear up all that static and make the signal come in loud and clear.
Now, having a brilliant hypothesis is one thing, but how do you actually prove it? How do you show that you can awaken this dormant system? Well, that's where the experiment comes in.
The key piece of technology they're using here is something called transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS. And what's amazing is that it's totally non-invasive. We're not talking about surgery or anything like that. It uses powerful, really focused magnetic fields from outside the head to gently and very precisely stimulate specific groups of nerve cells inside the brain.
So the proposed experiment is what's called a gold standard clinical trial. First, they find patients who are already known to have blind sight. Next, they use that targeted TMS on the visual areas of the brain. Then, they test how well those patients perform on a bunch of visual tasks. And here's the crucial part. To make sure the effects are real, they compare the results to a control group that gets a sham or fake stimulation. It's all double-blind, which means nobody, not the patients, not the researchers, knows who got the real deal until it's all over.
So what exactly are they looking for? Well, it comes down to three key things. First, visual task accuracy. Are patients getting better at spotting shapes and seeing movement? Second, reaction times. Are they responding faster to things they see? And third, and this might be the most profound one of all, subjective awareness. They're actually going to ask the patients if anything feels different, if they feel like they can consciously see even a tiny bit more.
So, let's just imagine for a second. What if this works? The impact would be absolutely enormous. We are not just talking about some interesting little scientific finding here.
We're talking about a completely new horizon, both for patients and for the entire field of neuroscience.
The potential breakthroughs are just staggering. I mean, this could give us a whole new way to treat this form of blindness. It could lead to groundbreaking, non-invasive therapies that help patients get back a real measure of independence so they can navigate their world more safely. And beyond even that, it could give us these incredible new insights into the nature of consciousness itself, that fuzzy line between what our brain processes and what we're actually aware of.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final, really provocative thought. If a sense as fundamental as our sight can be awakened, even just a little, from these dormant pathways in the brain, what other hidden abilities might be lying in there, just waiting for us to figure out how to turn up the volume?
This incredible insight is brought to you by the Vario One platform. If you believe in protecting not just lives, but minds, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more breakthroughs just like this one. You can dive deeper into the research and explore so much more on the Vario One platform. See you there!